All right, friends, Aaron here bringing you your full moon horoscope for the 12th of November 2019. We've got this Taurus full moon happening at 19 degrees 51 space minutes. All right, space minutes. I think it's such a funny word. I'll show you the chart so you know exactly what that means. All right, 19 degrees 51 space minutes. 19 degrees 51 space minutes. All right, at 8:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I think it's kind of fun that we don't get to the 20th degree yet. You know, it's like, hey, there's a lesson to be learned right here before we move on in life. Before we take one step further, we have to learn this lesson, you know. So before I get into all the full moon stuff, let's just talk about what else is going on here. We still see this conjunction between Mercury and the Sun. The Sun has now moved ahead of Mercury, which is really beautiful. Meaning, you know, the hero's showing up to the story before our thoughts run ahead of us, okay? And that's what happens. You know, right now our heart's leading the way, right? Heart's leading the way, and then there is our hero, and then, of course, you know, our thoughts are now, we're slowing down. We're slowing down, which is a beautiful aspect. Now, as you see, we have this grand water trine. It's coming back to visit us, okay? This is just a beautiful emotional connection between our intellect, our dreams. We can achieve our dreams, and our nurturing, compassionate, empathetic nature here in Cancer, okay? This is emotion. Water sinks to the bottom. And we're sinking to the bottom this Scorpio season, right? Now, of course, we still have this great release happening here between the South Node, Saturn. South Node is connecting. We can't really see that line right here. I don't have the South Node pulled up here. Jumbled mess. Mercury still connecting to the South Node, so we're able to release these old fleeting thoughts, old patterns, which is really beautiful and necessary for this expansion that's coming up right now. Mars is at the 25th degree, a perfect sextile to Jupiter at 25 degrees. Okay, we are having faith that our partners are showing up. Okay, and this connection right here is all about the faith. All right, and of course Saturn wants to make it real, and Pluto wants to transform exactly what's going on, so that we can, you know, we're not looking at new experiences with an old perspective. All right, super important that we get to see these new experiences and stepping into the faith in the unknown. And that's what this full moon is all about. So the 19th degree of Taurus, where the moon's going to be. The moon is exalted in Taurus. Stable, all right? We think of the moon, our emotional moon is ruled by Cancer. And we think of the moon like the waves on top of the ocean, okay? It's chaotic. It's up and down and up and down and up and down, right? You receive a compliment, you're up. And then you get torn up by your boss and bad dog, you know? So it's a constant flux of up and down, you know, ebbs and flows. Well, Taurus is the most stable sign in the zodiac. Stable. It's good for a reason, you know? We need stable ground. I can't build a house on unstable ground. Doesn't work. Not for the longevity anyway, right? So at 19 degrees of Taurus, it's like looking up to the sky and seeing the angel's wings, or just the wings, you know, in the clouds. The clouds have formed these wings. The clouds have formed this heart, or whatever it is. You know, it's like we're seeing a message. And it's how beautiful, you know, because not everyone around the world sees it. It's just for, you know, the people from this perspective, from that angle, at that exact time that you get to see that. And you're like, wow, when we see that kind of stuff, you know, it's just like, oh, that was special for me, for us, for whoever was able to see that at the time. You know, it's like the universe has our back. The universe is pushing us along in the right direction. We're right at the right place at the right time. You know, it's serendipitous. Beautiful word, serendipitous. You know, so it's just like we look up and we know there's a grand design. We look up and we know there's something more. There's something bigger. Now, in the 19th degree of Scorpio, you know, it's like it's the woman closing the curtains to the, you know, this veil to the back room, the mystical room in the back here, where the spiritual practice, where the ceremony takes place. Okay? Now, not everyone is invited to the ceremony. Very important. Only those who have done the work. It's like a fasting thing. We talked about that on the 11th, the doorway. It's like we're giving something up right now. We have to give something up. It's just like when you fast, we're able to have greater, mental clarity, which is definitely something that's great during a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. But I'm just using that as an example, just like yesterday I used the smoking, quitting smoking cigarettes or something like that. So like fasting, there's like by a sacrifice, by giving up something that we think we want or need, is going to allow us to learn the greater mystical knowledge. We're getting beyond our dualistic nature, our left brain, of logic, and this equals this, and this equals this, and this is how this works, and when I'm confronted with this scenario, it's this, and this. And this aspect says, throw this out the window. By the time we're 35 years old, our brains kind of solidify to a sense. Your pineal gland turns into a freaking rock in your skull, and your brain says, well, I've seen it, I've done it, I've experienced this, and time again, when I experience this, this is the outcome, and this is what's going to happen. And this is saying, no, child, no, a glimpse of this world. You know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. And it's just like, you want to get in this back room, you have to give up that thinking. You have to give up part of this ego, part of we know everything. And it's a sense of security. We're same with this water trine. We're opening our hearts. And to open your heart, you have to be vulnerable. And when you're putting that heart out there, when you're putting that faith out there, stepping into the unknown, when you're giving up your armor, let's go there. We're giving up our armor right now. We wear this armor to protect us so that we're in survival mode. But survival mode doesn't help us when we're in yoga. Survival mode doesn't help us when we're in meditation, when we're guarded. We're on edge. We're always prepared and ready for the, for the disaster. It's like, well, there's no disaster. There's no catastrophe. It's just you and your brain and your heart. We don't know everything. And that's a huge aspect of this, is letting go of our logical brain. Letting go of that, again, that dualistic nature. Letting go of part of that ego that says this and this equals this. And if this scenario comes up, this is what happens. Having faith. Venus up there. Putting your heart out there. Having faith that we are on the right path, seeing the message in the sky, and then sacrifice, being able to, I'm trying to think of the right way to say, what we're giving up to get into that back room, because when we're in that back room where the ceremony is, again, it's behind the veil, behind this curtain of this is reality, and it's just like going to mystic school. And it's just like, oh, we get to learn. I shared a post the other day. A guy literally can put his hands on your pulse and tell you what's going on with your entire body in such great detail, better than 1,000 doctors here in the United States. And it's like our left brain wants to say BS. No way. People have healed their hearts, turned them upside down before surgery. We hear stories about this and we say, well, that's a miracle. That's miraculous, but that's not going to happen to me. And then what does the universe say? Okay, it won't happen to you. We have to give up that kind of thinking that that's for somebody else, or that's this, or no, that doesn't work. It's the old expression, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So our thoughts create the building, the bricks, the blocks. That's a better way to put it, the blocks. And that's exactly what they are. We're blocking off that back room. We're blocking off the chance to have that mystical experience. We're blocking off that beautiful ceremony. We're blocking off our nature to go deeper by holding on to this logical brain, the dualistic nature, with our own egos, projecting into scenarios. It's like a kid with big eyes and wonder. So if we can go into this full moon with an open heart, an open mind, having faith to be able to look up, to see the message in the sky that we know we are on the right path. You know, we are all on the right path. And to understand that we do absolutely have to give up something. And if it's the thinking that's blocking us, then that's the thinking. If it's a physical habit, if it's a material possession, you know, I mean, Taurus does have to deal with material goods and possessions. And you know, sometimes we can be stuck in routine. You know, the cow's rudder. You know, we're stuck in a routine. We have to get out of our own routine in order to experience the new thing. And when we do that, when we get unstuck, you know, that's when the magic happens. And then, you know, we get to move on to the next chapter. But it's very important that we remove that block first. And to have faith that we can. That's so important. Again, the faith aspect is that we can. Following our hearts right now, because Venus is leading the way. You know, let's just come back here for a second. Venus is leading the way as far as our personal planets go. Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars. These are our 4 heroes. You know, and then King Jupiter and all of these guys, you know, they're outer planets. They certainly have a huge weight. I mean, of course, our moon is one of our key players as well. But you know what I'm saying? So these 5, these are for 5. And the outer planets, you know, not saying that they're insignificant, but when we say, like, what's leading the way, right now our heart is leading the way. Venus, our passion and our love and our desire. And the, you know, it's just like Sagittarius is the star that's out there beyond. You know, it's the light that is in the distance, or the fire that's in the distance. And we've been the weary traveler, you know, for weeks or months or days, whatever it may be. And we see that lighthouse in the distance glowing, that fire glowing. And we're just having faith that somebody's there. You know, maybe we're parched and thirsty, we've been fasting, whatever's going on, and we just have to keep on going. That little light is the omen. That light is our heart leading the way through all of this. And our heart knows. Our heart knows the best. Our brain is what stops and gets in the way. So trust yourself. Trust your journey. Look for the writing on the wall. Look for the wings in the clouds. Look for the message, because it is there. I mean, maybe we don't even have to look for it today. It's going to jump out and kind of smack you in the face. It's just that kind of day. So whatever it is, and knowing that whatever is holding us back and blocking, again, the faith to say yes. Okay? Yes, I can. Yes, I will move in this direction. Letting go of that block, opening up, and then we receive that mystical experience, you know? And that's when all the magic starts to happen. And we get to say, oh my God. That's it. You know, is an amazing day, a full day of illumination. You know, this energy is absolutely exciting. The fact that we get this grand water trine back here for the full moon is furthering, letting us know, and the septile here to the north node. This furthering, following our passion, following our hearts, and it's emotions. Our emotions are winning. And we get this great release still here with Saturn, the south node, Mercury connection to the south node. All right? So we don't have to fear about not being able to let go of that thing. Okay? We're going to naturally dissolve. You know, it's just going to naturally happen. Have faith and enjoy the heck out of it, okay? Because we're all getting into that back room. It's not reserved, you know what I mean? It's reserved for you because you're willing to do the work. I think that came out right. All right. Happy full mooning.